So I'm going to present to you the Smart Energy Services topic. The topic has been open in 2018. It is again open as an innovation action in 2019, and this is for 2020 for the second deadline and with a budget of 6 million euros. I say it up front because I always tend to forget to mention this. This topic is at the core about business models, and it is also at the core about energy efficiency. Not only energy efficiency, as you will see, but the core thing is energy efficiency. The challenge, in our view, is pretty much similar to the challenge as it has been in the previous years, even if the policy framework, as Margot has explained, it is moving, but of course is not yet implemented, and also technologies are advancing. Still, the challenge remains that energy efficiency services that have a big potential still don't have this achieve the market uptake as we would expect it, although usually they pay off and have good revenue streams. Possibly because still the revenue streams are perceived as being too small, and also that there's always a kind of uncertainty about those revenue streams. On the positive side, we have new technologies that help control and steer consumption according to the needs of the market and the needs of the system. And we have technologies that help to measure and verify energy savings, could also measure and verify flexibility, which would help to get a fair remuneration of these kind of services offered, and remuneration of optimized consumption. Coming to the scope of the actions, the scope is a bit different than for the previous years. Why? Because we think that the discourse and debate around smart services has advanced. There are concepts, the technologies have advanced, and the policy framework is slightly moving, so we are a bit more ambitious this time. What we would proposals expect to do is to take stock of what has been done, to look at the new technological developments on the market, but also look at what projects have found out or have proven to work or not work, and to take all these different successful elements, take them up, converge them, and advance it. That sounds a bit difficult, but it's more that you get a good overview of the elements that are out there and bring them together and advance the most successful ones. This year, for 2020, there's a specific focus, even more distinct than beforehand, on revenue streams. So it's not just a service provider installing whatever kind of smart home system, but it should be clear that there's a revenue for flexibility, for energy efficiency, or for distributed generation inside. This I'm going to explain afterwards. And there must be a clear demonstration that new innovative monitoring verification schemes have been used, plus that contractual aspects have been duly considered. This is a bit more in the focus than it has been in previous years. So coming to the essential of this call and this topic, so the scope more specifically. When we talk about smart services, what is it? Under this topic, it is services that do not only have an energy efficiency element, but that can be bundled with other elements, like other energy services, saying, for example, distributed generation, flexibility, storage, or e-mobility, or that they are bundled with non-energy benefits like comfort, safety, convenience, whatever. As an example, maybe if you have a service provider that comes to your house, would not only offer you an energy-efficient heat pump, but it might be a heat pump with a demand response functionality, and the consumer could benefit from a remuneration for offering this flexibility, while also having a fair benefit from the energy savings. That is just an example. It could be any kind of bundled services, and I'm sure there are plenty of ideas how you could make services more attractive. It could also be, for example, that somebody does not only install a smart home service in your home, but it would be coupled with security or health elements. So any kind of thing that would make this service more attractive would be in the scope of this. Thanks to a new data analytics tool, we would also expect that these services can be quite modular and tailor-made for the consumer, the target group. And maybe here should clarify that of course there's some focus on consumers, but it's not only normal residential consumers. It could be any kind of end users, could be industry, commercial buildings, whatever. It doesn't have to be the consumer in the sense of the topics that we have just addressed beforehand. And a very important point, I said this already, is this accurate and dynamic measurement, monitoring, verification, not only of energy savings, also flexibility, but also of these other benefits. For example, comfort, you should be able to measure. And it should not only be used ex post to verify those benefits and the savings, but it could also be used already ex ante to detect really good business cases in these smart services. Very important also the legal and contractual aspects. As I said, this is about business models, so it could not just be a superficial business model, but we really have to go into medias res and see where the important points is. For example, technical requirements, financial flows. What are the roles of the actors inside these contractual relationships? This is really important because this is afterwards what determines whether this model is successful or not. I should say that it's also important that as this tries to bundle services from very different areas, that these measures should be developed across different service providers. So it's quite unlikely that one service provider has the knowledge and the elements to address all these. So we very much encourage you in particular for the non-energy services, for the energy services, to go to the different market stakeholders, to involve DSOs, ESCOs, aggregators, also obligated parties under Article 7, because Article 7, again, could be a good driver for this energy services market. Focus, again, also, please look into what other projects have been doing, not only under H2020 and our energy efficiency calls, but also under other calls and the ICT calls. There's a big demo project that has just kicked off with 30 million DCT10 on interoperability in smart homes. Certainly, please have a look at those. I make very sure that the results will be taken up and endorsed by stakeholders. The impacts, I'm just going to read those out to you. There can be many more, and you're invited to think about other impacts that would measure the success of your project. The improved viability of innovative energy services is one key impact. The growing offer and uptake of services combining energy efficiency with other energy services, technologies, and non-energy benefits. A growing uptake of innovative data gathering and processing methods, and the application of methods and concepts to ensure that these innovative energy services are reliable and verifiable. In the end, it's also about trust. And these are just the ongoing projects that we have so far from a call in 2016, which was not specifically on smart energy services, but from 2018 we have Ambiance and Sensei, and I hope there will be some more coming from the call 2019. And for that, I want to conclude, and if you have questions, please go ahead.